All right, so I figured I'd do a video on the Form 1 thing with the solvent traps. I'm pretty sure that the idea the ATF is doing is they're like, we don't want people making their own stuff at home because then it shows that they have the knowledge. So let's make that barrier of entry for that knowledge and skill extra high. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna have to be able to mill out your own parts, like, you know, every single little chamber, etc. I don't know what they're actually called, but you know, those baffles, I think they're called. You have to mill those out yourself, machine them, whatnot. And each one of those is going to be a $200 tax stamp, you know. And then the shroud that goes over it is going to be a $200 tax stamp as well. And of course, by doing this, you know, they're turning anyone that buys like a solvent trap and repurposes it into a silencer, they're going to go to that company and say, hey man, you're selling silencers. You know, they're not completed, but the intent is there. And it's been demonstrated by X number of citizens. So what we're going to need you to do is you're going to have to become an FFL or whatever, an SOT, and you're going to have to make sure that people have Form 1s before you even send out the items, regardless of if they actually want to use it for a solvent trap for like their vehicle, etc., or if they want to use it to make a suppressor. And you know, of course, the ATF is too short-sighted to realize that all this stuff that they're doing, like with the rare breed stuff, is they're just pushing people into non-compliance. And you know, it's funny because they think that they're justified because Biden is in power now. But you know, even if Democrats keep winning elections and stealing them, you know, but yeah, if they keep stealing elections, people aren't going to forget that the ATF are tyrants, and they deserve to, you know, get their comeuppance, if you know what I mean. They're just desserts. And, you know, they're going to use that to their advantage too, and put on the media, be like, our precious law enforcement, good, noble heroes of the Imperium are fucking, you know, they're being killed by these crazy right-wing lunatics with guns, so therefore we need to ban all semi-autos. You know, it's a total trap. But what they don't realize is that we outnumber them greatly. And if people could just stop, you know, set aside their differences and agree to disagree on certain things and fight for a common goal, like our forefathers did to, you know, make this country what it is, or what it was, you know, we can defeat them. We can basically say that, you know, we gave you the power in good faith, and you did not operate in good faith, so we're taking that power back, and you're likely never going to get it again. Not without consequences if you violate. That's one of the major oversights that we have right now, is that, you know, there was no consequences written in the Constitution for people who violate, like politicians, etc. Like if you're a politician and you say we should, you know, enact gun control because of the Parkland shooting, to me that is treason, and, you know, should be charged as such. You know, even them writing up the bill to push that through is showing that they have a clear intent to violate the rights of the people. And I'm pretty sure that it's feelings based, you know, like stuff like Parkland and the Las Vegas shooting and bump stocks. It's obviously feelings based, you know, because they're not really protecting anyone. They're not going to bring back anyone back to life that died in those events by, you know, essentially putting into law collective punishment, which I believe is a violation of war. Like, you know, you become a war criminal if you do that because of the Geneva Convention. So, yeah, it's fucked up, really. And then, of course, you know, most people don't care about it because they went to public schools where they had to do what the teacher told them to do when they told them to do it, otherwise they'd get in trouble. So they've been indoctrinated from a very young age to be effectively subservient cowards. And it's fucked up. And of course, it makes it worse for the people that are aware of what's going on, because, you know, like, you have sympathy for the cowards and people that have been indoctrinated because they never really stood a chance. Well, also, they have to be responsible for their choices in life, because that's what every adult has to do. So, yeah, I think eventually, because, I mean, people think that it's going to go on forever and it's just going to get worse and worse, but, you know, that's not how history works. Like, either the country will fall completely and will be taken over by China, etc., which we kind of already are. But anyways, either we fall completely, or we have a revolution and do like a restore factory defaults on the Constitution. But this time, we need to make it so where, you know, there are consequences for violating the Constitution. There's no qualified immunity. There would be no, you know, basically anyone in government would be able to say and use the Nuremberg defense saying, I was just doing my job. Like, that, you know, just doing your job isn't a pass for violating people's rights. So, I'm not sure if I want this to happen in my lifetime, but, you know, I think the sooner the better. Because at this point, I mean, look at home prices. Look at, you know, the freedoms that have been etched away over time since the 30s and the 80s, or the 1800s. It's just, you know, we're not gaining any ground. As, like, you know, liberty is, you know, it's slowly withering away. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And hopefully they're able to, you know, draw back a little bit on the Form 1 stuff and make it, you know, plausible. But I don't see that happening. I think that ship is sailed. And the ATF is basically declaring war on we the people on every chance they can get. Yeah, while they're supposed to be enforcers, they're acting like legislators and enforcers, judge, jury, and executioner. So